Welcome in, everyone. As always, happy to have you all here today. We have a very positive, fun topic to talk about today, one that is some really good news that we haven't had in quite some time, I would say. And it deals with the military, conflicts abroad, and, of course, recruitment numbers, which have been a major concern, but I'm pulling them up here right now. And this is a much-needed update. But before we get into all of that, as always, please make sure to like and subscribe, comment with your thoughts. It helps us share the stories we're looking to share and all that stuff. You guys are much more important in this than I am. That I can promise you. So let's get into it right now. The backdrop here is that the United States military has had a recruiting crisis for several years now. I'm going to read you a report from 2023, foxnews.com. This is, wrong one. Hold on. This is from 2023. So it's across the board. I believe the only branch of the military that actually does not have a recruiting crisis is the Marines, and we're going to get into that in a second here, why that might be. It's a very interesting story, but I think it's going to make sense. So this is from late 2023 Fox News report. U.S. military missed its recruiting goals in 2023 by 41,000 and faces a recruiting crisis heading into the new year, according to a Pentagon official. So that's just the overall baseline. Missed the recruiting goal by 41,000 people in 2023. That's a huge, huge problem. Then to make matters worse, at the time the Pentagon's acting Undersecretary for Personnel and Readiness told the Armed Services Committee last week, 77% of today's youth would not qualify for military service without some form of a waiver, and 11% would not qualify because they're overweight. So we've got kids who are on substances, we've got kids who are overweight, and you're not going to be allowed in the military, obviously, if you have either of those. So here you go. This is a great quote. Young people today are not rejecting military service. The challenge is that they are not even thinking about it. They are not looking at what we have to offer and telling us no. They simply don't know much about the military service, and what they do know is probably not accurate or complete. So there you go. It used to be very, very, very bad, terrible recruitment numbers. We were going in the wrong direction, short 41,000. And all of this is happening while we have crises all over the world. You got Ukraine, Russia. You got the Middle East, which seems to be on fire every other day of the week, thanks to a variety of different reasons. And then you've got the granddaddy of them all, which is the Chinese problem in the South China Sea, in Asia. You've got Japan, South Korea, Australia. They're with us. You got some other countries with us. And then you have the Chinese who are looking to cause all sorts of problems. So while all of these problems are unfolding across the globe, the United States military is unable to hit recruiting goals. But we have good news. Secretary of Defense Pete Hegseth announced, I'm filming this on February 5th. He announced on February 4th, breaking. In December 2024, the U.S. Army had its best recruiting number in 12 years. In January 2025, the Army had its best recruiting number in 15 years. Bottom line, America's youth want to serve under the bold and strong America First leadership of Donald Trump. Now, I'm sure Trump winning and kind of reinvigorating the American spirit, patriotism, pride, I don't have any doubt that plays some level of a role here. But I think the bigger thing is when you look at how it's being marketed now. If you remember during the GWAT, I was in high school for a lot of it, you couldn't turn on the TV without essentially seeing an Army ad that looked like it was a Call of Duty advertisement. I mean, guys running through the streets, running and gunning, explosions, helicopters coming in, guys in gunfights all over the videos. That was kind of the ads that they ran. And everyone who was a young man who liked war movies, video games, adrenaline, adventure, saw those ads and was like, this looks awesome. Why don't we do this? This looks incredible. And it obviously worked. And then we went more in towards the direction of, I don't know if you want to say diversity, but more of the non-combat stuff to more of, off the battlefield advertising. And that's getting back to the Marines. The Marines hit their recruiting goal because the Marines know what their identity is. The Marines know that their job is we're going to go out and we're going to kill bad guys. That's what we do. That's who we're looking for. That's our ethos. That's who we are as Marines. They never really left that. All the other branches kind of did. But now we're seeing a swing back Pete Hegseth, I can't share it here because the video probably will get copyright struck and taken down. Shared a video on X, quote tweeted it, of a new Army ad that is more in the vein of what you would have seen 15 years ago than what you see maybe 2 years ago or 3 years ago. And it's pretty neat. And I'd encourage you to go over there. While you're over there, you can always follow me as well on X at DHOOKSTEAD. Feel free to go ahead and give Outkick a follow. Feel free to read about this at Outkick.com. But the point is, this seems to be a watershed moment, a break in the ice, if you will, to getting back to where we need to be. But it's still not all good news. So this comes from Daniel Driscoll, who's Trump's nominee for Army of the Secretary. This report was February 4th, so literally the same day as the Pete Hegseth thing. But he said in his congressional or confirmation hearing that the recruiting target was picked because it was an achievable goal, but not number they needed to properly staff the service. This is, quote, "We have the fewest number of active soldiers that we've had since World War II. Even as conflict is erupting around the world, we need to fix that. I actually don't think the answer is throwing more money at the problem. I think it's nice to get things like GI Bill benefits, but I didn't join that. I enlisted to serve the Army." There you go. So, and again, it goes back to the how many young Americans are even able to serve. This report from Newsweek claims only 23% of young adults meet the military's mental, physical, and moral standards for enlistment without requiring a waiver, which goes back to the 77%. It's the same stat that wouldn't make it. We need our recruiting numbers to be doing well for one simple reason. We need to be ready to confront any threat, wherever that might be, at any time. Again, there are threats blowing up all over the world, no pun intended. None are bigger than what's going on in China. None are more important than what is going on in the South China Sea. Say whatever you want about Ukraine and Russia. Say whatever you want about the Middle East. The Middle East has very little impact on your day-to-day life. People mostly care for ideological reasons, religious reasons, and that's all fine and dandy. People are welcome to feel however they want. But what happens in the Middle East, for the most part, minus some rare things, if the U.S. is not involved, doesn't impact you watching this pretty much at all, right? Doesn't really impact the stock market, doesn't impact your ability to, buy groceries, buy eggs, things like that. Buy an iPhone, for example. If things go south with China and a massive war starts in the South China Sea, that has a direct ability to impact your life, impact your cost of living, impact your standard and quality of life. So that is a top concern. China has a huge military. China has a huge navy. In order to confront that threat and any other threat that might pop up, you need to have a fully staffed, ready-to-go military. And now we read things about how this is the smallest military since World War II. Active duty, smallest army since World War II. Obviously, combat changes. Obviously, the way we approach it changes. All of that is obviously true. And you don't need 16 million men in the armed services. Obviously not. But you need enough ready to roll. And I hope the fact that these recruitment numbers are higher is a sign that we're trending in the right direction. People have bought back into the system. We're advertising it correctly. The job of the military is to kill bad people. That's what the military does. It kills bad people. It kills the enemies of the U.S. That's how it should be marketed. That's how it should be advertised. You should be looking for people eager and interested in doing that role. That's really as simple as it is. So let's hope there's much more good news coming on this front. Until then, please like and subscribe. Comment with your thoughts about why you think military recruitment is turning around and trending up, and I'll catch you all next time.